Rooftop Sports welcomes you to a special presentation of the National Football League.
That's not what he wanted to cook.
Good evening, everyone. This is the Rooftop Sports along with my friend J Trident Podcast, and we are literally less than 48 hours away from, let's just say we may scream at our TVs. I think we might have broken TVs, whether you're in LA or Seattle. I think people's body weight's going to blow up because everyone's going to have a bunch of food. And maybe fireworks will go off. Depends on which city. Depends who wins, but that's what I'm predicting within the next 48 hours. And for the reason, and do you know why we might have that kind of odd kind of activity? Like, why is that? Why would that happen within 48 hours where someone like me might go to Popeye's Chicken at some point at around like 2:30? And why would TVs might be broken? Why would people gorge on food? Why would people drink like a total of like, I don't know. Like, what's going on?
Well, we've got for the second time in the last 5 months, we've got a team one win away from going to the big dance, NFC Championship, that I don't think we were anticipating back in September. Seahawks Rams for the Super Bowl on this time Sunday. We'll know if they're going to the Super Bowl or not. We will know by 8:30 or 7:30 your time. It's 8:30 my time. We will know.
Yeah, we'll find out, man. And it's going to be, I think this is the fourth time or the fifth time the Seahawks have gone to a championship game in the conference. It was 83 when they fell to the Raiders, 2005 when they absolutely embarrassed the Panthers, and that's where Seneca Wallace made his name a little bit known with that huge, like, bizarre catch. It was so unbalanced when he caught it. And then it was 2013 when Richard Sherman embarrassed Michael Crabtree. Then it was 2014 with that very bizarre comeback. And in hindsight, I wish that comeback never happened because we got humiliated in the Super Bowl anyway. And now, this is the fifth time the Seahawks have gone to a conference championship game. And amazingly, the Seahawks, as of now, are 3-1 in conference champions. And in the NFC, 3-0. But at the same time, the Rams are 2-0 in Seattle at Lumen Field. Happened in 2004 with the Matt Hasselbeck tried to throw it to Bobby Ingram when he was pressured. And then 2020, I still think there's an asterisk. I think if the 12s were there, if we were not locked down, I think we would have won that game because Rams didn't have to have any false start problems. Now I wonder how many false starts there were in that game. If there were like less than 3 false starts, then we could say lack of 12s did not help at all. But anyways, we're going to go over the Seahawks game for the Rams. But before we do that, we're going to reflect a little bit on the 49ers game. And then we're going to talk predictions, answer some questions by Seattle fans. That's why, or even Los Angeles fans. That is exactly why I made this live, to give people a chance to talk about and express their feelings on this game and what questions they might have. But before we even go, I got to send this quick message for anyone that wants to go to this NFC Championship game. SeatGeek is a mobile ticketing app for sporting events, concerts, and other events. They make the buying experience easier by the app ranking each ticket from 0 to 10 to see if you are getting a good deal, and you can see exactly where you are sitting. I regularly use that app, and I have had nothing but a fantastic experience with SeatGeek. Use my promo code RoofTopSports to get $20 off of your first purchase. Link to the code, app, and website will be in the description, so take advantage, and thank you. So yeah, use that promo code if you are really desperate to get to a Seahawks game. I know it's only $20, but saving $20 is better than saving $0. And it will give you an opportunity to experience, at this point, a once in a decade of a lifetime. Because it seems that the Seahawks only make these kind of games when the Pope is reelected or whenever the Seahawks find a way to get to the number 1 seed. And by the way, every time the Seahawks were the number 1 seed, they made it to the Super Bowl. So how about that? So we'll go over the 49ers game, and obviously that was an absolute impressive display by the Seahawks. Like, before the game started, I remember I was talking about that. Man, this could be like the 2013 NFC Championship game. Kyle Shanahan has the system down. Brock Purdy's undefeated in Seattle. And then within like 13 seconds, I wish it was 12 seconds. What's his name? The kick return guy. Rashid. I don't know. Rashid Shaheed with that insane kick return, which we all thought that was gonna go back, but it was because the kicker tried to trip him in a dangerous way. That led to the touchdown. And I think I had a feeling that after that, it was like, okay, that's a good start. But maybe the 49ers will come back, which that never happened. They never even scored a touchdown. And crazy to think that the Seahawks, I don't even remember the last time they gave up a touchdown. I think they may have gave up a touchdown against Carolina, but I think that was it. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. But that was that. And then what were other things you remember from that game? Because I'm running out of stuff already.
Yeah, you're right. One touchdown last 3 games. It was Bryce Young in the third quarter on like a scramble. That was the only touchdown the Seahawks have given up since the Rams game. So in the last month, now granted only 3 games, but that's still impressive. Just domination from start to finish. I mean, that kick return touchdown was all they needed. Now, certainly if it would have ended 7-6, we would have been sweating it out a little bit more than, we did. But from the start of that game, it was never competitive. The Niners go for it on 4th down in the second series. Don't get it. Not even close. Then they turn it over. It's 17-0 in the first quarter. Now, of course, as fans, we're sitting there going, hey, you got to get the first down here because this isn't over. Niners are going to come back. But if, we're being honest, like taking out our emotions, it was over soon at 17-0. It was probably over at 10-0, but first quarter, it was done. So it just, utter domination of a Niners team that, had a big win in Philly the week before. They've certainly been banged up with injuries a lot, and that's decimated them. But I'm going to say, I don't think that made a difference. I don't think if the Niners were healthy, it's probably would have been closer, but I think Seattle's a better football team. I just refuse to believe that a couple players makes up a 35-point deficit. And that, Seattle's defense again just completely took over, and the offense obviously doing what it needed to do, right? The run game, which has been outstanding the last month, and Sam Darnold not putting the ball in harm's way. I know it's going to be the talk again. I'm kind of tired of the narrative keeps shifting on Sam Darnold. He can't win a big game. Well, he does. He goes into San Francisco and wins a big game. Oh, he can't win a playoff game. Well, he did. Well, he didn't do anything in the playoff game. Didn't have to. That's what's made the Seahawks, so great, is that they don't need Sam Darnold to be 27 of 33. Now, I think he's going to have to do more on Sunday than he did last week for sure. But he doesn't have to be, I don't know, like Dan Marino. We were talking before this. He doesn't have to be that kind of player to win games for this Seattle team. So yeah, just, complete domination from start to finish. It's nice to get that one win because I think that's always in playoffs, like the tough thing. You want to get that first one. It takes a little bit of the nerves off. I was actually more nervous for that game than this game, not because I don't think the opponent's easier. The Rams are a tougher opponent, but I think it's like, okay, we got one. Losing to Niners would have been a rough one. Like after beating them in week 18 and having them come in and then, beat you there would have been a really tough pill to swallow. Now you got that one under your belt and you're a win away, from the Super Bowl here. So yeah, just start to finish, absolute butt whooping, 35-point win. I mean, they almost won the game by 40 points. Walker was sensational too.
Walker, yeah. And and speak of Walker, Seahawks are going to have to go up with pretty much just Kenneth Walker because Zach Charbonnet is out for the season because of a knee injury. I think it was possibly a torn ACL. So it's up to, what's that guy's name on the Seahawks for the running back? Because he is going to have to step up big time. I think it's George Holani, yeah. George Holani. He is going to have to step up huge for the Seahawks. And let's see where George Holani is at. So he's 26 years old. He hasn't really done much. but he is now the backup running back. So he's going to have to step up huge, especially for those third down situations, assuming that's what they're going to use him for. I mean, I think it's not like there was really much to talk about for that 49ers game. And we can just talk about how great that the Seahawks were. But at the same time, this is about the Rams. And we all know that this game's going to be much tougher. And before we even reflect on those two games in the regular season, which I'm going to need a lot of help from that Los Angeles one because I did not watch that game because hashtag Special Olympics basketball. I was helping running practice. So I can't really shirk my team for a silly football game. Now, if it was like for the NFC Championship game or the Super Bowl, I've been like, yeah, I'm taking a week off unless there was a tournament. But we got BC. Obviously, he's an LA guy. I mean, I think I can't really be obvious enough that he's an LA guy. Go Rams, Dodgers, blah, blah, blah. Well, here's some stats that he does have that does give the Rams a case that they might have a really more than a good shot to win against the Seahawks. We've got Stafford with a 101.3 quarterback rating versus Seattle. Every other team 70. He just seems to have our numbers. Sean McVay is 3-0 versus NFC West teams in the playoffs. So that includes the 49ers. I think they were 49ers, Seahawks, and I'm pretty sure the other one was some other 49ers game I'm not aware of. Rams are 5-1 against NFC West all time in the playoffs. Oh boy. Yeah, this is where I'm getting a little bit more nervous. Stafford 92% or 86% win rate versus Seattle. I guess dating back to his Lions days. Yep, he has. And happy birthday, Sean McVay. So I guess he might have a birthday mojo in him. So yeah, it's gonna be tough. But before we even get into that, let's reflect those other games. So if you can take me to what happened in that Rams game, the only thing I can recall from the Rams game, I don't even think I watched the highlights, but Sam Darnold had a really rough game. He threw 4 interceptions. This was on 44 attempts, while Kenneth Walker only had 16 attempts. So it makes me wonder, maybe the Seahawks should have maybe ran it just a little bit more rather than Sam Darnold throwing so much. Now, granted, they were like in an indoor stadium, but still, 4 interceptions. And yet somehow the Seahawks were literally a field goal away, which I believe Jason Myers missed that field goal, which is why they lost the game. But it wasn't a very difficult range. But the Seahawks were still darn close to winning, considering that Sam Darnold threw 4 interceptions.
Probably help if I turn the mic on.
I think
It was a very odd game. I think both fan bases can agree on that. You could take a lot of takes out of it. I think they threw the ball a lot because they were down by like 9 points in the fourth quarter. So they had to have a drive to get the touchdown to cut it to 2. Then the last drive of the game, they started at their own half-yard line. So I wonder if that kind of skewed, because you're talking about the pass attempts. I'm assuming those last couple drives skewed it a little bit. Darnold threw the 4 picks. He was not good. At the same time, like outside of the 4 picks, they moved the ball okay. And I don't have the numbers in front of me. I'm assuming they outgained the Rams in that game. That doesn't mean everything. The Rams also had a couple short fields they capitalized on. I thought Seattle's defense did really well in that first game. After kind of a first quarter, a little bit of barrage from the Rams, they really held that Rams offense in check. The Rams secondary, Chris Shula continued to do a great job against Sam Darnold, disguising coverages, confusing them into a few interceptions. So that obviously, was a big issue in that game. You can look at it several ways. Crap, Sam Darnold had 4 interceptions. That's awful. It was also took a perfect punt at the end of that game that landed at like the half-yard line by the Rams that might have kept Seattle from winning that game. That goes out of bounds at the 5. Maybe they get those extra 5 yards and Myers hits from 55. So, there's a lot of ways to look at it. I didn't come away from that game thinking, oh man, Seattle can't compete. It was a game I kind of thought they might drop, and they did. So, it was a very kind of odd game. I think both games were weird because I honestly think the losing team in both games probably outplayed the winning team in a weird way. I know there's some Rams fans in the chats. If, they're here to be genuine, that they can chime in on that. I'm not trying to be like a weird take on that. It's kind of how I feel. I think the Rams definitely being up 16 in the fourth quarter of that Thursday game had to feel like that was their game. And I don't think like Seattle ever felt like it was their game in the first one, but I do think they held that Rams offense. It's been phenomenal this year in check for the most part. The defense played really well. And if you take away one interception for Sam Darnold, the Seahawks, you got to feel pretty good they win. Now the Rams get credit for those interceptions. That wasn't, like that shouldn't be thrown away. But very odd game. And then, like I said, Myers misses the kick, 61. Would have been like, there are some kickers making those, I will say. Like, it would have been nice if that kick was like somewhat competitive, like, and a little closer, because we've seen some kickers make those. But yeah, it was definitely, both games are really close. Like, these two teams played 2 games and their point differential is 1. Like, it's been decided by 1 point. So, that's kind of my take on it. I think it's 2 pretty evenly matched teams here. Seattle's certainly more rested. The Rams have the better quarterback, which is huge in the playoffs. I think Seattle's got the better defense, which is huge in the playoffs. I think both fan bases have every right to be very confident that their team is going to come through. Rams fans should absolutely believe in Stafford and Nakua. Seahawks should absolutely believe in the defense, the running game, and even Darnold to an extent. Like, I mean, he's gotten him here, and Mike McDonald. So I'll let you take it from there. But, that's kind of my take. Quick overview of it for me.
Seahawks offense-wise actually outdid the Rams in that game in Los Angeles, and then the Thursday night football game at home, that's where the Rams outdid them on the offense. But somehow, from what I remembered in that Rams game, when the Rams were up by a substantial amount, it took a lot of components. It was Shaheed with his insane punt return that really did set that tone. And then Seahawks got a little bit lucky with their 2-point conversion, their accident oopsie conversion when, yes, Sam Darnold threw it backwards. I mean, sorry, LA fans, like, he threw it backwards. Like, Sam Darnold did throw it backwards, hit the helmet, and then Zach Charbonnet just happened to pick it up. So there was a little bit of luck involved for the Seahawks to win that game. And, like, I thought the Rams were still the better team, and I still, unfortunately to Sonics fans, Denali 220. Yep, that's Sonics hats right here. But yeah, like, from the Rams really should have won that game. It's just that Guy didn't make his field goal. So Rams just ran into some weird luck in that game. But I mean, it was an exciting win, I'll say that. And it was the game where I did make fun of Sean McVay for complaining about the refs, about the whole 2-point conversion thing. And he was trying to say, that is something that I have never seen before. Now, I would show the video, but because we are too close to the NFC Championship game, I just don't want to really taunt Rams fans at this time. I'll do it after, if the Seahawks win. But he was talking about that he'd never seen any of those kind of bad calls before. But let's not forget that the Rams themselves against the Saints in that NFC Championship game got away with that pass interference call, which was clearly a pass interference. And then the one where Puka Nacua, his knee was down against Detroit, they got away with that too. So that's why I made fun of Sean McVay for that, because he was trying to say, well, I've never seen such ridiculousness out of that. But we saw 2 of those plays where they got away with it. But now that we pretty much reflected the game where, yes, it was a very exciting game. At the same time, now we're just going to preview into the Rams game. Like, I am deeply scared because, like, all the stats that BC guy did bring up, he was like, well, there is all these stats that does stack up well for the Rams. And in history, Rams have kind of always been like the problem team, no matter what state they were in. Like, back in like the 49ers, like when the Seahawks lose the 49ers, at least it was expected, because most of the time the 49ers beat the Seahawks just weren't there, right? Because they were It was either when they were just rebuilding or we had those Geno Smith years. So I still think that the Niners versus Seahawks all-time matchup is a little bit skewed because when the Niners are just not there, but the Seahawks are like the better team. Yeah, so the numbers pretty much skew on each other. So it kind of offsets. And it's kind of like, and some of the results we've gotten were kind of the more expected. But in history, with the Rams, like even the greatest show on turf, even though they were literally on their last legs, they still gave Seahawks the problem. Like even without Kurt Warner, when it was just what, Mark Bulger, an aging Marshall Faulk, aging Isaac Holt, and Isaac Bruce and Torrey Holt, they still gave the Seahawks problems. Oh, let's not forget the Jeff Fisher Rams. Remember when Seahawks were like Super Bowl contenders and you had this little Jeff Fisher guy with Sam Bradford and some Kellen Clemens or something? And they were like one of the worst, more mediocre teams in the NFL. And they would lose to like all these other bad teams. But when they played the Seahawks, they were playing as if it was their Super Bowl. Like there's a lot of games I remember. I still remember in 2012 when the Seahawks scored like 50 points, like 3 games in a row. And then when we played the Rams to close the season, it was like, oh boy, we had to play it to the very end. And even in the Super Bowl year, remember the game where Golden Tate did the whole bye-bye thing and the taunting? That was at the last moments. And I still remember when the Seahawks won that game when the Rams failed. I literally screamed at the TV in like excitement. And then even like that very last game of the season in 2013, it still took a little bit of like Seahawks still had to lift themselves. So historically, Rams they just happen to have the Seahawks number no matter what status they're in. Like even if they're the worst team in the NFL, they still make it difficult. And that's why I expect this NFC Championship game to be exactly like the 2013 NFC Championship when it was the 49ers and the Seahawks. Like for anyone that's expecting 2005 Carolina Panthers game, you're dreaming. And I think there's been a lot of and I've also noticed like a lot of mainstream media personnel, they've been like, oh yeah, Seahawks are the better team. Look at their point differential. Look at this. Sam Darnold's efficient. Their defense is good. But it's like, but when the Rams play the Seahawks, it's completely different. So that's why I'm just extremely nervous for the game. Like I know everyone else is excited because I also work in childcare where before and after school programs, all the kids are like so excited with their Seahawks jerseys and the principal's like, see, and all the kids scream Hawks, which by the way, I had the kids today at work. I had them make 12 flags and then we were screaming Seahawks, Seahawks. Funny thing too was when the kids were like walking by, I was like, hey, be aware, Rams are very dangerous. And they're like, no way, the Seahawks got them. The Rams are cooked. I'm like, I'm just saying, I warn you. That's my take on it.
Yeah, I think we've kind of nailed it there. I expect a close game. I think it's 2 really good football. I think it's been the best teams, truthfully, in the NFL, to be honest. I think it'd be 1-2 in my power rankings for the season, and they're facing off here. I think kind of felt destined. We both had this as our NFC Championship game, which I think your Super Bowl is still alive because you had Denver in the AFC, didn't you?
I think so. Yeah. Holy crap.
Yeah. So you're still alive. My Buffalo one was looking pretty good there for a little bit, but then they buffaloed it in Denver. But yeah, I mean, there's a reason we had this as our NFC Championship. I listen. I think the winner of this wins the Super Bowl. I think if the Rams win on Sunday, they'll be favored to win the Super Bowl. I won't count New England complete. I don't see Denver with Jared Stidham winning a Super Bowl. New England maybe, would be a little tricky. But yeah, I think the winner of this wins the Super Bowl. I think it's going to be, like I said, and these playoffs really similar to 2013. Patriots, Broncos, AFC Championship. And then NFC Championship is NFC West 5 seed versus at Seattle. So I'm getting some major 2013 vibes, but I'm seeing some of the comments and I think everyone kind of agrees, Rams and Seahawks fans can unite that I think these are the best 2 teams in football. It would be, I do think it's the Super Bowl. I've said that before and crazy things happen, but yeah, it's really, and some great chess matchups in this game too. Sean McVay versus Mike McDonald is as good as it gets. I think offense versus defense, and kind of interesting matchup, right? Because game one, I think McDonald kind of got the better of McVay in that one, but the Rams win. I guess that was kind of my point. Like maybe not outplayed, but like I thought McDonald got McVay, and it's McVay that wins. Game two, McVay adjusted, right? The Rams put up 37. Stafford throws for like 4 something. Nakua 200 yards receiving. McVay adjusted. McVay beats McDonald, but Seattle wins. So game 3, my guess is somewhere in between, right? Like I don't think it'll be quite the shutdown of the Rams offense that the first game was, and I don't expect the Rams to put up 37. But the undercard may be the Seahawks offense versus the Rams defense. That kind of maybe be the sleeper matchup here, because that's the 2 units that like are both good, right? The Seahawks offense has been very good this year, and the Rams defense has been very good. But it's that may be the key to it, because they both had struggles at times too, where they've been kind of considered the lesser unit for their team. So, all the talks can be McVay versus McDonald, but it might be Shula versus Kubiak is kind of the deciding factor. And we'll see what happens.
The Rams are a top 10 defensive unit, while the Seahawks are the number 1. But usually when teams usually get to the number 1 defense in the NFL, they usually have a pretty good chance to get to the Super Bowl, because having a great defense is critical. But the problem is it's going to be about, can they stop Matthew Stafford? Because he has tended to have the Seahawks numbers. Even when he was in Detroit, there were some games that the Rams kind of snuck by from the Seahawks. And wait, I'm being distracted, but this guy's like, guy on the left, me, you a Lakers fan until this? No, absolutely not. I am okay. Here's my favorite teams in basketball. My Sonics team that doesn't even exist, and my best friend's Special Olympics basketball team that I'm the assistant coach to. That is like, when Special Olympics happens, that is my NBA. I am part of it. And at some point, I had courtside seats and VIP access to their practices and got to participate. It doesn't get better than that. So until then, it's all about my Special Olympics basketball team. That is my go-to basketball team, not the Lakers, not Oklahoma, not Golden State, no one else. Anyways, what else did they say? All these LA guys, they're all on my feed. Like, where are my Seahawks fans at? Like, that's the thing about this channel. My channel has a weird luck of just drawing fans of the other team, but I can't even get these Seattle fans in. But hey, like, I know I've seen some other podcasts that other Rams fans are like, they seem irked about. Like, some of the podcasters of Seahawks were like, yeah, we should have a really good chance. Like, maybe I should find that video, but I don't know. But both of us, we're saying it. Like, we're expecting this to be a very tough game. And I even have the edge for the Rams to win because of all those numbers that just happen to stack up for the Rams. It's just going to be about, can the defense do it? Can Sam Darnold at least move the chains? That's what he's got to do. Like, for him, really, maybe he has to make that one big play, but for most of the time, it's about the less screwing up he does, the better. Like, we can all agree, if Sam Darnold has that kind of game from the first game in Los Angeles, there's no question the Rams would win that game. So he has to make sure that he doesn't throw those picks at all. And other keys will be, it's also going to be about how much is George Halani going to be that much of an impact, especially for someone that's going to be a third down guy. But you need that third down guy, because that's what Zach Charbonnet was for. He wasn't exactly like Marshawn Lynch or anything, but on those critical third downs, he would make those big plays and then some, because Kenneth Walker can only do so much. And he's had some issues over the past few years where he wasn't exactly at his best and also not the most healthy. But man, it's going to be a lot of that. Like, again, like Sam Darnold, just not screwing it up. The running game has to do their thing. Defense has to be as sharp as possible. Jason Myers got to kick the field goal. And also, more importantly, how about the most important thing, which is what my SeatGeek thing is there. If you're going to buy Seahawks fans, like, there are season ticket holders that still try to sell their tickets, but make sure you buy it from them and use my promo code RoofTopSports to get that $20 off at least, so we can have more 12s in there rather than little Rams fans going, yippee! Just like those 49er fans were there, because quite a bit of them were there last week, but didn't really matter. But 12s have got to cause that earthquake again. But that's just my take.
Yeah, and I definitely, I think Darnold's got to, you can't lose him the game, but, he's turned the ball over and they've still been in games, and that's the thing for me. Like, they've been able to overcome it. I'm not saying like, oh, let's do it and see. I don't want to test it. But they have overcome these things. Like, he threw 2 picks against the Rams on the Thursday game. They overcame it. He threw 4 in the first game. They almost overcame it. The Rams have won the turnover battle against Seattle 7-1 this year. Again, that's something I think you can look at 2 ways. You could say from a Rams perspective, like, we don't turn it over. We're taking it away from you. And if that happens again, is it going to even be close? Are we able to be able to pull away? But if you're Seattle, you're sitting there going, man, if we can play even in the turnover battle, we should be the better football team here, because we haven't turned it out. We haven't turned it over yet, and we're playing even. And when we have turned it over, we've been able to keep the games close. The Rams been kind of odd this postseason, because like, I think they've looked a little off, but they're also a win away from the Super Bowl. You never want to take that away. But the tough game against Carolina, tough game against the Bears. It's the playoffs. You're going to get teams' best games. And I will say that, like, I have seen some Hawks fans that are kind of like, the Rams have been a little off. You're going to get their best. Like, you just have to expect you're going to get a team's in the NFC Championship, like week 13 against the Titans. Yeah, sure. That's a team you're going to have mailed it in. But like NFC Championship, I don't think the Rams are going to come out off their game. And I think, I don't think you have to play perfect football, but like, you're going to have to be dialed in, kind of like what you said. You can't afford missed field goals. You can't afford, crucial mistakes. So, I think Seattle will be up to the task. Like, they've done it all year. They've answered every call, and they've answered every call pretty convincingly. The Rams has been the one that has been even. That's the only team that, for Seattle, they haven't shown that they are, clearly better. I do think Seattle's the better team, but like, they haven't on the field. Like, they've taken care of business against everybody else. The Niners, were yapping all week leading up. 2 games in a row, combined score 54-9. See ya, you're done. You're not in the stratosphere. Like, Panthers made the playoffs, bye, you're done. If the Seahawks are playing the Bears this week, I'd be pretty confident. Like, I'd be sitting here like, you never know, but Caleb Williams would not come in here and win the NFC Championship game. And Seattle, I see a comment there like Elijah Arroyo coming back. I think the passing game was much more explosive when he was a part of it in the first half of the year. Just having that tight end that can go up the seams, I think, is big. To your point, I think losing Charbonnet is a big deal. But I think Kalani can come in there and play. Another key thing, the Seahawks last 3 games against the Rams have not sacked Matthew Stafford. That's going to be something that I think they've got to find a way to get better pressure against him. I don't know what their like pressure rates were in those games. But that's certainly going to be something that they're going to have to do, I think, a little bit better job of. And this one is getting a little pressure on Stafford.
Let's see what AI says. This is what I got. In the 2025 NFL season, the Seattle Seahawks defense consistently pressured Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford, hard to believe, maintaining high pressure approach across their matchups. During their Week 16 matchup, Seattle intensified their pass rush, with Stafford facing pressure on 46% of his dropbacks, which was over 10 percentage points higher than his season average at the time. So I guess that they're putting pressure. They're just not getting to him.
And it's one of those numbers to like, I love pressure rate. I think it's super important because you've got to pressure. But there's also a point when like you also got to bring him to the ground. You know what I mean? Like you got to finish it. So that's great. That's good to hear that it was above average getting pressure on him, but they still haven't gotten him to the ground. I do think Stafford's got a quick release, and a cannon arm. So I don't expect him to sack like Stafford 6 times or anything. But if you can bring him down 2 or 3 times, that would be a huge, I don't know what the word would be, like something Seattle could do. That would be huge if they can bring him down a few times.
Speak of pressure, I mean, we've seen the Seahawks put an insane amount of pressure on Brock Purdy, but he somehow gets a first down somehow out of his ass. It's like he just throws it up, going flyers up, and then someone catches it, and it's like an insane first down play. So Seahawks, they can provide pressure. They have to finish, and if they can't finish, then all those pressure numbers, they don't really mean anything. And we didn't even, and I forgot to, and thanks to these Rams fans, we forgot to talk about, or as you as well, that we forgot to talk about how close the Bears were to actually winning that game. And regarding the Panthers game, the reason why I felt it was going to be close was because usually these below 500 teams, for whatever reason, they tend to make the game interesting. Like the Seahawks, first ever below 500 team to make the playoffs. It was that Beastquake game. Then we saw Cam Newton win a game. And then I guess the Commanders or the Washington football team, they sort of made it interesting, I think. And the Buccaneers had a below 500. So, I mean, they've had interesting games, so it's whatever. But I want to go to the comments, like, I am still in shock how Caleb Williams, he was literally at the 40-yard line, literally being pressured, and he just threw like a falling back heave to the end zone, and the guy was there for the touchdown. Like, this was, I'll show you what my reaction was when Caleb Williams made that game-tying touchdown pass. It was literally this. I was literally just looking at the screen for like more than 30 seconds of just like jaw dropping. And it looked like the Bears were going to make it to the NFC Championship, but then nice interception thrown by Caleb Williams.
Caleb Williams kind of in a nutshell in the end of regulation overtime. Like you see where he can be amazing, and then you see where he can be like, what on earth? Kind of interesting. The Rams playing back-to-back USC quarterbacks. I don't know if that means anything to Rams fans, but Caleb Williams and then Sam Darnold. So I don't know if that means anything to them, but it's kind of interesting.
It's kind of ironic because they're both LA guys too.
Yeah, exactly.
So LA versus LA in some way.
Bryce Young was Alabama, so never mind.
It was Alabama.
Yeah.
He was, yeah. Well, I want to get to the comments because I think we've already gone through as much as we can. I mean, before we do, what about that? The other thing that kind of scares me too is that the last time Sam Darnold played against the Rams in the playoffs, which was just last year, he got absolutely obliterated. Now, granted, you can say, well, it was just the Vikings, but they were still like a 13-4, 14-3 team for a reason, only to go to LA and just absolutely get shanked. Now, at least Sam Darnold's in Seattle this time. But the question is, will the pressure get to him? Because we still haven't seen a lot of playoffs out of Sam Darnold. Like, he hasn't really done much. Like, the Rams game, he got absolutely just annihilated. And then the Seahawks game, he really didn't have to do anything at all. The only thing he had to do was get a pass to Jackson Smith and Jigba, which he did when he was pressured. So that was nice. But we still don't know what we're going to get out of Sam Darnold. That's why I'm like super nervous about the game. Like, in some ways, I'm excited because it's like, yes, a chance for the NFC Championship. It's still kind of rare in Seattle to get that opportunity. But I'm still like, well, the Rams, and they are the one team that gave the Seahawks a lot of hell. Anyways, to the comments. So, we finally got a Seahawks fan saying, "Go Hawks!" Indeed, go Hawks. He said, Denali says, "Not gonna lie, it would be better if you guys were Rams fans." I will have to respectfully decline on that. No, I can't do it.
My dad was a Rams fan, grew up in LA. So, I mean, you got like that going for you, if that helps a little bit.
I liked Kurt Warner's comeback story. And I think that Mike Martz treated him like garbage. I'll give you that. But that's all I can give. maybe next year. I'm trying to, what was the context behind that? There's always time for you to become the Ram. No, that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It won't happen. And I've done it before. Like when the Mariners were kind of stinkholing and mediocrity, I had a moment. I regretted it. I started following the Yankees for whatever stupid reason from 2017 until the day Robinson Cano was traded to the Mets for Jared Kelenic. Yes, I've done it before. All I can say is this. When I was doing that, and if people want to YouTube short me, TikTok short me, going, Joe was a traitor. Rooftop Sports is a traitor to Seattle. Go ahead. But when I tried to get into these Yankees groups, and when I was commenting, it just didn't feel right. And when I was on my downtime a lot, I was still binge watching old nostalgic Mariners videos when I was, quote, a bandwagon Yankees fan. So the Mariners was still in me. So if you think that I'm going to be a Rams fan, it's just not going to happen. I don't have a lot of friends in LA. I don't really have any connection with LA. I mean, I have a soft spot for the Dodgers because I respect what they do, but that's not going to make me a fan. So sorry, buddy. It ain't happening. Oh, this guy says, stop being a Debbie Downer. Defense and special teams got Sam's back. I hope you're right, buddy. It could be true.
And they have. I mean, I won't go on the Debbie Downer thing, but like the defense and it's kind of been the thing. And it's where I get like annoyed with the Sam Darnold talk. Not you or not anybody in here, but like the national media every week. It's, well, Sam Darnold didn't care. He doesn't have to. Now, that might change on Sunday. Maybe he will have to, and we'll see. But the point has never been, at least for me, and I think other Seahawks fans, that Sam Darnold's an elite quarterback. I don't think he's top 5, but I think he's top 15, and he's got the best defense in football, the best special teams unit in football, a good running game, and he's good enough to go like and not cost you the football game. Like, he has had some turnover problems, no doubt there, but that's the thing that the media just like, oh, can Sam Darnold win it? He hasn't had to. And I even think on Sunday, like, I think he's going to have to do more than 12 of 17, but maybe it's 19 of 25 for 213 and just not turning the football over. That I don't think the Seahawks style is ever going to be where Darnold has to go 33 of 39 for 517 and four touchdowns. So like, yeah, I get really tired of the Sam Darnold. Like, I think it's a fair conversation to have. Like, if the Rams get ahead here, like, can Sam Darnold do enough to bring him back? But just from national media talking about Darnold, like, oh, well, we still don't believe in him. It's not the point. We believe in the Seahawks defense. We believe in the special teams, the run game. We believe in Sam Darnold enough to like not cost them these games, essentially.
Hence
Sorry, rant over.
No, it's a good rant. And even though we might be on different ends on Sam Darnold, we've been on different ends on like what? On Scott Service. I mean, you were more Service than I was. I mean, it was clear, and that was okay. And then remember that Paul Sewald trade where I said that was a horrible trade? You say, no, it could be a good trade. Now, at this point, I think that trade at this point was kind of a wash at this point, only because Canzone had a 300 season by accident in 25. But yeah, it's okay. I mean, you can, if you think Sam Darnold has it in him, you should say that. But for me, I'm always like that. I'm nervous.
I think we don't like disagree on like his ceiling. I do not expect Sam Darnold to go 30 of 35 for 455 in this game at all. And I don't think you do either. But like, all I'm saying is like, I don't think it's that the Seahawks, I don't know what the Seahawks can do, because it's like they keep moving the goalpost every time with Darnold. He can't win a big game. Well, he doesn't have to put this team on his back to win these big games, which is more like my point. It's not that, and we'll see, maybe Sunday, the Rams, like in a shootout, we'll see what happens. But if that does come to fruition, I'm just more like, they keep shifting it. Like, oh, he can't win a playoff game. Well, he did. Well, he didn't have to do anything. Well, of course, because they were up by 1,000 points. So I don't think we like totally disagree on like what he is. It's just more of like, how much impact he'll have. Maybe that's the disagreement a little bit.
Maybe don't be annoyed by those mainstream media. That is what Sam Darnold needs, because at least the ones I'm listening to, like Colin Cowherd, is like, oh no, the Seahawks are the absolute favorite. No one's going to stop. I'm like, bro, calm down. What about the fact that the Rams actually match up pretty well against the Seahawks too? Let's not kid ourselves on that. But ranting is good. That's what we need. That's what makes the show. If there's no ranting, then there is no show.
Exactly. So you're right. They give us something to talk about.
No USC quarterback has ever won a Super Bowl. Well, excuse me, while I end up going to Popeye's Chicken, chugging down chicken before the game. Thanks for reminding me. If I lose 5 pounds by then.
Is that true? No, yeah, I'm trying to think. Like,
let's check the AI. Let's. I mean,
I believe it. I think it is true. I'm pretty sure it is.
USC quarterback ever won a Super Bowl?
But I mean, how many USC quarterbacks have been like in the like Carson Palmer?
Palmer was 0. Mark Sanchez almost went to. I mean, they were like, wow.
No, Jim Plunkett was Stanford. Okay, I was like Plunkett. No, that was Stanford.
Carson Palmer, poor guy, torn ACL with the Bengals, and then he just couldn't get it done with the Cardinals. I mean, they ran into the Panthers. Just got hot at the worst possible time. Like, if the Panthers just were not that hot, I think Seahawks could have actually been in the NFC Championship against the Cardinals, and that would have actually been more like a shootout kind of game. That actually would have been an interesting matchup. What's next? No Ohio State. Well, there's that. On Sunday,
I wonder if any backups have done it. Just to technically, like, you know what I mean? Any guys that were on the bench?
I guess not. No, I don't think so. On Sunday, there will be lots of chants. Whose house? Rams' house. Yeah.
Maybe.
That's why, again, Seahawks fans, reminder, use my promo code RoofTopSports to get your $20 off. Do it before Rams fans do.
Maybe in the parking lot shaking, this was supposed to be our house. What happened? No, I'm just,
that's what
just
I
having
want.
some fun.
More tight end play with a Roy.
Yeah.
Yep. That's what we talked about. Well, I don't care about the Bears. Oh yeah, the blistering cold. I mean, I figured someone was going to say that. I mean, I said that too, that the cold weather had a little bit to do with the Rams kind of like inching their way to that victory. Stafford's elusive. Well, I mean, I guess the Seahawks, I guess.
I think he is a little bit more like, he's not mobile, but he does move around well in the pocket. Like, he's not a mobile quarterback, but I think that's a good call out. Like, he's shifty enough, right? Kind of like, he's not going to run on you, but he can step up well. So I think that's actually, I agree with that comment.
I think one of the best examples of a shifty quarterback where he was like mobile, but he also kind of wasn't, but he knew how to run. Russell Wilson, like, he wasn't the fastest guy, but he knew what to do in the pocket, and he knew exactly when to run. He was a very smart guy with that. That's what I really missed about Russell Wilson. Rams in 4th in turnover margin this season. Seattle's tied for 22nd. Rams are battle tested. That is true. They've won a Super Bowl. Will McDonald and Kubiak be too nervous if this game gets close?
No.
I mean, Seahawks have had a lot of margin of victory, so they've had a lot of comfortable wins. So it's not a crazy question to ask.
I don't think I can't I get it. And the thing I will say, like, I don't think it'll matter like they'll be nervous, but like, McVay's got more experience in these games, so that could play a factor. I don't think it's a nervous issue. Like, I can't imagine them being like, oh no, what do we do? They're great coaches, but McVay does have more experience, but Shanahan had more experience too. So I think maybe the experience is more of a factor than if they'll be nervous.
Or maybe, just maybe that. I mean, Pete Carroll technically didn't have experience going into the 2012 playoffs, won his first playoff game, nearly beat the Falcons, and technically he was still less battle tested than Jim Harbaugh, and they figured it out. And sometimes I don't think experience doesn't always have to matter. Like sometimes it's just a matter of if they just know how to do it or not. Like,
Well, when the Seahawks and Broncos played in the Super Bowl, Seattle had 0 players with Super Bowl experience. And Denver, like if you combined all the Super Bowls, had been to like 40, you know what I mean? Between like Champ Bailey, Peyton Manning, all those guys. And like sometimes you're too dumb to know too. So it's like if the Rams win, it's going to be, oh yeah, it was the experience. If Seattle wins, hey, it was a young, feisty team that doesn't know any better and won. So I think those narratives get overblown a little bit. I think this can be the most no duh comment ever, but whoever comes in and plays the best football on Sunday is going to win this football game. Like, I think at the end, I don't think it's going to be like, oh, wow, Stafford made a great throw to Nakua for the win because he has experience. I think it's going to be because Stafford's damn good. Or if Seattle's defense sacks him, it's because Seattle's defense is damn good. I think that's what it'll come down to.
Yeah, to your point. That's kind of why we've had Bill Tobin asking the most important question that we've been trying to answer for the last 32 years. Who the hell is Mel Kiper? Basically saying it's true. Like all these mainstream media personalities, like even Skip Bayless, he was like, LeBron James, he just didn't want it enough. They didn't want it enough, or they just didn't have the experience, or it was just bad weather, but they don't like talk about like all the little intangible things. Like sometimes people just talk about, oh, it's because the team just didn't have the best probability or odds. It's like, no, it's because the team was just badly executed. Oh, this guy's trying 100%. To say Rams. This guy's trying to say the Rams are the nervous ones. They run more against the Seahawks than anyone else and doesn't allow Seahawks to return kicks. So, I mean, I'm sure both fan bases are probably, you know what? Maybe there's a rooftop Rams guy that's probably thinking the same exact thing as I am. And there could be a rooftop Rams because the whole rooftop thing was originated in LA. And if anyone wants to know what rooftop is, all I'm just going to say is just go look it up on Google and YouTube and then come back to me because I'm not going to explain it. And I just won't explain it. Brady has won more Super Bowls after. Okay. Denali says, I am subscribed. I hope that we can have a Super Bowl preview next time. It would be best if it were Rams versus Broncos. Maybe I'll think about it just for you, but you have to show up. But there's no guarantees I'm going to do that for.
I will not be talking about Rams Broncos. I will not. Won't have the energy to talk about it. So.
But I'll be there for the Super Bowl. I'll be there for the Super Bowl. I'm still going to do the Super Bowl either way. I'll probably just be extra depressed though, but I'll still do it.
At least it'll be less stressful if that's the case. So.
Yeah, I'll be like, I won't be on edge about it. Rams versus Broncos will be Coach Sean versus Coach Sean. Yeah, Sean Payton versus Sean McVay.
So, well, no, but Pats versus Seahawks will be Mike versus Mike. So there you go.
It will also be there's like a lot of interesting scenarios. Like it could be Broncos versus Seahawks, where the Broncos are going to try to avenge 48. How about Seahawks are going to try to avenge 49? And what about Rams still have to avenge 2018 and 2001? Greatest show on turf, losing to a borderline rookie,
That's
Tom
right.
Brady. And what else? What's another combination? It's like Rams, Patriots,
Rams Broncos doesn't have.
They don't have a history. I don't think they have a history. No. Rams Broncos sounds boring.
Unless there's some like weird regular season game that happened.
I think if Rams Broncos happened, I think that might actually be in contention for the least watched Super Bowl in the history of Super Bowl. You got a team that's already probably going to stomp the Broncos unless this backup guy pulls like a Doug Williams or a 2001 Tom Brady. But chances of that, given all the playoff appearances in history, probably not. But if you go by NFL script, I think they want the script wise in the media and all the companies that are going to be advertising for the Super Bowl. Deep down, I think the NFL. They want either Seahawks versus Patriots or they want Rams versus Patriots. I think it's going to be one of those two. So honestly, maybe this bold prediction, maybe the Seahawks and Rams game might be not as flagged, might not be as much of a flagged game because they might just let them go at it, because if Seahawks go against Patriots, they'll just run the Super Bowl 49 narrative. And if the Rams and Patriots go against each other, at least they've already had history. So if anything, NFL has nothing to lose.
Yeah, I think the NFL is fine with whoever wins Rams Seahawks. I don't think ratings wise that's gonna. I mean, you're gonna have the LA market, or you're gonna have Seattle and a huge fan base. Definitely think they'd probably prefer Jared Stidham not being in the Super Bowl. I think that would probably, if we were executives and we were sitting in on the meetings, they'd probably be like, we hope the Pats win. I think Rams Seahawks, they're fine either way. Because like I said, Rams, you got the LA market, Stafford's a big draw. Seattle, you've got the 12s and a big draw there too, and a really, dynamic defense. It's kind of funny if it's Seahawks Broncos. I think it'll be the first time we don't get the Sam Darnold narrative, because it'll actually be the one quarterback he's going against. You're like, wow, okay, Seattle's actually got the better quarterback in this game. You know what I mean? It'll be the one time where it's like that narrative won't really work, because you're going to say anything about Sam Darnold has to apply to Jared Stidham, essentially.
Well, let's just hope that before we'll
talk about that if we get there.
If a huge big if, and if we are, we'll probably have our hearts boiling in a very happy way. If McVay wins his second Super Bowl this early in his career, 6 is totally possible eventually.
If McDonald wins this year, I think 15, 16 might be possible.
Stop.
McVay's a great coach.
Best coffee shop in Seattle. I'm just going to say anything but Starbucks, because Starbucks is just very overpriced. And Seahawks is like, I'm not Seahawks. Coffee, Starbucks, Seahawks. Starbucks is kind of just too mainstream at this point. I don't really have a preferred one. I'm just not a coffee guy. I just don't care. The only coffee I really care about is black coffee. Like, I'm perfectly content making my own coffee, just like literally just squishing the coffee beans and just making it into a black, boring coffee. I don't care about the flavors. That's just too much sugar and fat written all over it.
And I don't drink coffee. I drink tea. So
way healthier option. This guy goes, Sam has enough heart to win a Super Bowl, but Seattle is good enough not to need an MVP quarterback for it, which
I agree.
Seahawks have they've made Super Bowls without MVP quarterbacks. Matt Hasselbeck wasn't exactly MVP material, no offense. And Russell Wilson never got to MVP, and he wasn't exactly needed to win the Super Bowl. Now in Super Bowl 49, he was. It was more like Marshawn Lynch anyway. Olympia is my vote. I'm trying to
coffee. Think about
coffee. There must be an Olympia. It's all about the quarterback. Yeah, Matthew Stafford has that edge.
Yeah,
if it's all about quarterbacks, then why did Mahomes lose the Super Bowl? It was Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts.
But that's a good point. Like I do believe quarterback's the most important position on the field, and I do think the Rams have that advantage. But and Hurts played great last year, but Mahomes is much better quarterback than Jalen Hurts. And the Eagles defense took over. Peyton Manning, better quarterback than Russell Wilson. Now at the time, Manning was on the tail end, but if you got a defense that can dominate, it can make up for a lot. So I think both guys are right. Like quarterback's super important, but I think Seahawks fan there is right as well. Like good defenses can dominate too when you have a defense as good as Seattle's.
At the end of the day, Seahawks have a better team, but the Rams have the better quarterback. Give me Seattle 24-17. And I do think the scoreboard is going to be more closer to that than what we've got in those other two games. It would be tough to see a 38-37 kind of game. It'd be tough to see. Now, if it does happen, it happens, but I'm not a crystal ball. Christian, the best Chicago fan I've seen. We were so close to a Bears Seahawks NFC Championship. Yeah, well, it was a tough loss.
Yeah, it was a heck of a season for the Bears, though.
I'm going to be all over the Lions YouTube when the Rams win another Super Bowl with their quarterback. Oh, that's cute. You better screenshot that to me. I I just so want the Dodgers, Rams, and Lakers to win a championship in the same season, even if it only happens once in my life. Sounds like a first world problems disease, if you ask me.
I'm just
Very,
happy both our teams made it to the championship in the same year.
especially in a city.
Yeah.
Once Mark Walter fixes the Lakers, isn't Mark Walter like also the owner of the Dodgers? He owns the Dodgers. Does he own the Lakers too?
I think he's jumping does he? Oh, he does?
I think he does. He is the owner and chairman of
Sheesh.
the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Los Angeles Lakers and the Los Angeles Sparks of the WNBA. This guy's going to own LA.
Probably does already.
Woo! I don't know about hockey. I don't care. Go Broncos. I think we're all on the same page on that, at least. I think that's something we at least have in common, Rams and Seahawks, that we just want the Broncos to win. 2018 is on Goff, and 2001. Yeah. Rams Bears was the most watched division game in years, though. I can see that. 45 million. Hurts when the worst quarterback to win a Super Bowl since 2002, Brad Johnson. Don't forget about Trent Dilfer 2000. He said that too. Joe Flacco, the only non-elite quarterback to win a Super Bowl since I watched. Well, Joe Flacco begs the difference. He thinks he won
2015 Peyton Manning wasn't elite. Nick Foles wasn't elite. Now he played really well in that playoffs, but I think there's been a few that haven't been in there as well.
No city has ever won championships in 3 major sports leagues. Guess what? I don't.
Yeah.
Kevin Kirby, where have you been?
Kevin, what's up, my man? How you doing, Kevin?
Man, I'm just going through all these comments. They used to not let people do that. Mark Cuban wanted to buy the Cubs when he owned the Mavericks. I wish Mark Cuban bought the Mariners. What about Nick Foles? Yeah, we just talked about that.
Yeah.
Foles, the Brady of backups. He had a 27-2. Yep, that was 2013 when he was with the Eagles taking over for Michael Vick. Well,
that wasn't a Super Bowl year, though.
That was in our Super Bowl year. And it was the Eagles 2013, Chip Kelly.
Yeah, I'm saying that wasn't the Eagles Super Bowl year, though. So that was a different season.
That was our Super Bowl year. But I think there was a slight perception that maybe the Eagles might make a little bit of a run. Oh, Kevin Kirby, when do you think the Seahawks will be so? Oh,
I don't know.
Please, Jody Allen,
kind of kicking butt.
Please hold on to the team, Jody Allen. Please do not sell. Please keep the team because you seem to be. I think honestly, deep down, I think she still talks to Paul Allen from heaven. I think Paul Allen still gives her pointers, probably. So
I was a little nervous about Jody, but Jody's been pretty awesome.
It's not like she didn't do anything. She didn't necessarily do anything wrong. Like when the Seahawks were kind of like in their up and downs, it wasn't necessarily Jody's fault. That was just her just letting John Schneider just run the show, and that was just the Seahawks doing their own thing. And then Russell Wilson was just declining, and there was a period where they just had to rebuild. And I remember when the Seahawks made that trade with the Russell Wilson trade, I wasn't even mad. I was kind of shocked. I was more shocked than mad because it seemed that Russell was kind of starting to go down in the tail end, even though I thought he was going to make it work in Denver. But I was like, well, we got 2 first-round picks out of it, so at least if we're going to rebuild, then might as well just get it over with. Should sell it to Frank McCourt. No, I'm good. Thank you. The NFL is better when there's a team in Seattle. Well, we can say that for like literally every other city. Like the NFL, I don't think there can be an NFL without Cleveland having a football team. And it would be tough to see, you know what? It would be tough to see the NFL with LA. And we saw that before. I mean, you can say that for a lot of cities. There's been a team in Seattle for 50 years. Yeah, the Seahawks. Just don't ever beat the Rams in the playoffs. That's true.
Well, we haven't. So.
What owner? Oh, this is a good one. What owner would suck more if they bought the Hawks, Schultz or Bezos? Schultz.
Bezos.
Here's the thing. Schultz's kind of business, he was in a more niche business, which was coffee, which was fine, but it didn't necessarily translate to basketball. Bezos is more, he knows about world business, I think, because he has a more broad, more diverse kind of business. I mean, this guy's launching rockets to space, for crying out loud. And he sells like a bunch of stuff. He tries to do a lot of things. So I would trust Bezos, because Bezos also once said that he is willing to take a lot of risk, because if he's willing to take that, and he also has a mindset where he once said it in an interview on 60 Minutes that he said that if he doesn't keep innovating year after year, Amazon could die within 5 years. Now, I know that's not really possible, but he does at least have a winning mindset with business. So I would give the edge to Bezos. And plus, Howard Schultz, he was notorious for tanking ticket prices. So yeah, actually, you know what? If you want cheap tickets for the Seahawks, Howard Schultz can be the owner. And then you'll see the team probably gone within 5 years after that. Ohio produces so many top football coaches, yet can't win Super Bowls. Ironic. Steve Ballmer would be cool. Nah, not the way he's running the Clippers. Now, he got the stadium, but Steve Ballmer didn't even want to save our Sonics. We don't want any aspiration type deals going on this Seattle. Yeah. Well, I think we're kind of running out of time, because we're like at well above an hour. But now these people just started just pooping in comments all of a sudden.
They'll love it.
Hey, do me a favor, guys. Be there for the NFC Championship. I will be there at around like 3:20 to 3:25 to do the play-by-play. So if you guys can put the same amount of energy just on a preview show, put that same amount of energy, if not more, into the NFC Championship game for my live stream, which I will be there on Sunday, 3:25, 3:20. I know you won't, because you'll just be watching it on TV, screaming at a TV. So that's all good. But Rams fans, welcome. Rams fans are welcome. Please come here. You too, Seahawks fans. You got to be here too. But
we got to do predictions.
Trident, do you got any closing statements? I think you said predictions. Sorry.
Yeah, I think we got to do, got to do a prediction for it. Do you want me to go ahead? Start us off?
Do it.
Let you finish. Yep.
Do the prediction.
Listen, we've gotten this far. It's always like a weird spot when your team is like, unless it's just something where they're so overly matched, and it's like, if an 8-8 Seahawks team got to the championship, but they've gotten this far. I think they've been the best team this season, and I'm going to take them to win it 24-20 over the Rams. I think they're going to find a way. I don't think Stafford and that Rams offense will be shut out, but I think Seattle will certainly do better than the 37. And I think the offense is kind of, it's done all year. We'll find a way.
I hate to say it. I'm sorry to break it to you, Seahawks fans, but it's literally my tradition every week to always predict against my own favorite team. I'm going to say 23-20 Rams. They're going to find a way. It's going to be like an overtime kind of finish, in my opinion, or fourth quarter kind of finish, where it all comes down to the kicking the field goal. And I think it's going to be a field goal kind of finish. So I hate to say it, the Rams. I just don't want to say Seahawks winning, because if I do, and then I'll feel guilty for saying the Seahawks win. So that's just where I'm at. And Denali 220. Now that we did our predictions. All right, last few comments, and then we all got to go. J Trident's at 9:44 p.m. He's got to go to sleep. And I have a long day tomorrow at work. Hashtag don't quit your day job. He's asking if he will not kicked out. You're not going to get kicked out. Now, the only people that have been kicked out is someone sending out a bunch of porn links. Not that I clicked on them. It just happened to have the link just happened to say things. And sending a link of like a link that would say, learn how to make $10,000 while pooping in the toilet. As long as you're not spamming me those comments, you'll be okay. Like, you could say go Rams and spam about it 50 times straight, and I am not going to block you. It's fine. Now, all right, 3 more and I'm done. If Rams go 14-0 like last time, they're not losing again.
Maybe. Yeah, possible.
I know. Seahawks, he thinks, wins 21-17. Who do you want to do the 12th man flag? Okay, fine. Last one, and we're gone. Comments after that. Sorry. It's going to be Jody Allen. Who else is it going to be?
Yeah.
I mean, Richard Sherman, no, that doesn't make sense. Marshawn doesn't. Because Paul Allen did it on the other 3 NFC championships, so it's got to be tradition under the ownership that it's going to be the owner that raises the 12th man flag. Your prediction was 30. He's a bold one. 34-10. This game is too big for McDonald and Kubiak. I think they get desperate when they get down early. All right, then. Well, thank you, Denali. I hope I see you Sunday. Kevin Kirby, I hope I see you. Mister, you think I'm a Debbie Downer. I hope you're here Sunday, too, just to tell me that I am a Debbie Downer. BC, be there, be square. And J Trident Podcast, maybe if you sneak into my show at the end, if they win, just to say, we did it!
Yeah. If they win, I'll try and hop on from my phone or something, and get in there. So the 34-10, you know what? You know what? I'll switch. I'll go 34-10 hot. No, I'm just kidding. I can't predict a blowout, but I respect. Listen, last thing I'll say is both fan bases, I think, should be nervous but confident. I really do believe that. Like, you can't not be nervous. But both should feel good. Both should trust their teams. And that's what is so great about getting to these moments. It's not about just trying to get respectability. It's about two of the best.
Well, that is it. We're all going to take off, and everyone, thank you. See you Sunday. Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Rooftop Sports thanks you for watching this presentation of the National Football League.